thank you guys for hanging out. Let's go into this. A big favorite here. He was pretty cheesed out by Protoss earlier today, so he's staying up late to play North America. It is, of course, Liquid Clem. His opponent in the top left-hand side, the Ukrainian cheese master himself. He's a sneaky boy. He loves Broodlords, and he's one of the best Ravager harassers in the game. It's Bly. Now, I think if you play mech against Bly, even though he absolutely can look a bit lost against mech, it's against bio. If you just get the game to anything approaching a normal back and forth mechanical bio match, he's going to be in trouble. And especially against Clem here. So we would expect Nydus work. We would expect just a fast roach all in. We expect 2-base Muta into some crazy shit. I don't know. Maybe not 2-base Muta because Clem's so good against Muta. It takes a bit too long to get going. But, let's see how we go. Belly Fox has a question about the campaign. I don't know. I don't actually know, guys. I think Haas vs Reaper might actually be already going on, guys. But we do want to see what Bly does to try and cheese literally the best Terran vs Zerg player in the world. Because I know that Clem is probably going to stomp him. That's the expectation. But if Bly even takes a map, it is like, holy shit, you're good. It's so hard to cheese Clem. Cyril tries to do it. Cyril tries to do it quite a lot. It doesn't work very often. Thank you very much, Xiaomi, for the 25-month resub. Thank you, everybody, for the support today. The Reaper comes in and says, time for the tax, dickhead. Thank you, Uzi, for the 1-year resub as well. Thank you very much, guys. Can he get a Zergling? Yep, gets one. Can he get 2? Only built 4 Zerglings. A lot of players build 6 against Clem because his Reaper's so powerful. And we often see Raynor, Cyril lose 2 or 3 Zerglings. So only losing 1, this is a great start for Bly. Of course, they're both European players, so we've hopped over to the European server for this, guys. I have 300 ping this game, but the players are having a much smoother one. Is there a way I can download these pro replays for StarCraft 2? Subscribe. I know I've been lazy with my replay packs. I will 100% put out a replay pack right after today's tournament with a selection of some of the games over the last 2 weeks, guys. So don't forget to subscribe, and that gives you access to the Discord channel. Nice defense there. Tiny bit of mining time. Doesn't lose a mule or anything. That's perfectly fine for Clem, who's going to go up into the high ground. And there's a quick lair and 5 roaches coming out. I mean, this is a weird build for Bly. I honestly don't know what he's doing, guys. Roaches get spotted. They're not that quick, though. So, I mean, he kills the Reaper, which is nice, but it's been spotted. So, yeah, he's got to go back to droning and take a 3rd base, right? He's taking extra gases. He's droning as Bly. Now, Clem's already building a bunker on the high ground. He's so traumatized from dying to, like, Nydus worms and stuff. He's already got a Cyclone as a defensive unit. He's got Marines and a bunker in the main. He's got a Viking out to deny Overlords. Marines and bunkers plus Cyclone to hold the line. Dude, this is actually super duper safe from Clem. And this is actually something which does give Bly a bit more transition potential. But he's got 9 lava that he's not using right now. Like, Bly is really slow to drone up here. And that's just one of those things where Bly is just nowhere near as smooth with his macro as some of the other tip-top players. I feel like at any point, 80% of his mental APM is spent on thinking about how he could win. So he's still going Nydus Worm here. And the thing is, Bly is so prepared for this. Clem, sorry, is so prepared for this. I don't think this has any chance of working. That's a pretty slow 3rd command center. Stim is never kicking in. Clem is just sitting in his corner of the map. And you know what? If you know that Clem's going to play this way, you'd actually be better off taking a delayed 3rd and droning up. There's very little scouting for Clem, and that would be so incredible if he could just play that sort of style right now. There's still the option of the Nydus in the back, but yeah, I guess it could not be spotted there, funnily enough. If he actually puts a Nydus there, it doesn't get spotted unless that SCV rotates to the right side of the building. Viking coming forward. Nydus does go up, but oh, he misses the dark spot, not to mention the rallying SCV seed anyway. Nydus won't be able to get up, but he's kind of all in on 2-base is Bly. As I said, what do we expect for this series? Nydus. Yeah, apparently Clem's pretty smart because he expected the same thing. He's going to clean up that Overlord in the back. 3rd hatch only now going down. And that gives Clem all the comfort in the world. Look at that, Viking land. Oh, gets a creep tumor. Sexy moves, pulls back out of range before lifting because he doesn't want that queen to get any free hits. And she gets a hit off anyway. Ravager is going to try and work away on these depots and these upgrades. I'd love to see lots more drones for Bly, but I feel like for Bly, he's kind of like always just in this state of like, I got to kill you now because he's so afraid to go into a longer game against Clem. And that might feel like it's bad because of how safe Clem's playing. Maybe technically not optimal, but absolutely justified. Honestly, if Bly went into a standard macro game after just fainting an early pressure, if he did that very often, Clem would just play his normal game and get way ahead. So, no more units died. He's lost 1 Ravager, 2 Roaches. He got rid of the eBay and the 3 depots, which Bly actually does good damage to that. He's going Infestation Pit, double Evo. So I'd expect Infestors and then a transition into Broodlords. So I expect 1/1 range upgrades, and then he'll swap into melee after +1 range to help his Broodlords and maybe even a Zergling Baneling transition, which Bly's very good at doing, but unfortunately, he's not droned his 3rd yet. And that's what I'm talking about, is Bly is just so slow to macro and just hold down the drone key. He's got great creep spread behind it. He's even spreading creep backwards. He's great tactically with his Ravagers. I think denying the +1 armor was pretty nice, but he's got to be careful of getting stimmed on by those Marines, because it's just a pack of Ravagers. It looks like a big force. Essentially, guys, that's 11 Roaches. 20, 30 Marines with stim and +1. Stim on that. It doesn't matter if they got shields or not. They will be able to kill that army very easily. That creep is spreading backwards, though. He's got tunneling claws. Infestors on the way, or infesta, I should say. A single infestor to start things off. And I mean, Clem is playing so afraid in his corner of the map that Bly is able to get to the mid game in not the worst scenario. He's slightly behind in the upgrades, but not too much. He's going to go Burrow Roach. His 3rd is still not fully saturated, which is kind of bad. But because he's transferring some drones from his main, it'll be basically there. I mean, Bly has to take efficient fights. The longer this goes, the more and more it's about efficiency. Oh, the Biles do take out a medevac, but he's going to lose a few Ravagers for that. Yeah, Bly is going to get punished for that pretty badly. Oh, good Biles there. But he's losing more Ravagers, and he doesn't have the Infestors out or the big massive Roach Ravager. In terms of supply, when you're playing Roach Ravager, you do not want to be in this sort of supply position. If you let the tanks siege on your base, it's a huge problem for you. Now, he's going to send Roaches around. Does he hit the economy, or does he go for the tanks? Let's find out. Looks like for now, they're going to go for the tanks. Doesn't mind. Losing that hatch on the north is not a big issue. Remember, if those Marines are clumped and he lands a big fungal, that's going to be big. He lands triple bile there. Gets a medevac as well. If these Roaches get these tanks, that would be huge. He sees them. Oh, he's got to split onto that tank as well. Ah, he needs tank. If he gets the Roaches on all of them, it'll be big, but he's actually clumping them up. Bly, of course, not the fastest player, but he does get a double tank snipe. Oh, he's looking for the fungal, but now those tanks on the high ground are causing him a big, big problem. I think if Bly split those Roaches up, that would have been absolutely disastrous for Clem. As it is, Clem trades out, kills a lot of the Roach Ravager, and he's got a double drop on the left. So I think this is totally fine for Clem. Even though his tank count gets reset, I don't know if Bly has any sort of kill timing off this. He's down 10 workers. He's back on 3 base versus 3 base. Great pickups. And remember, you've only got 4 queens for anti-air. Fungal. Ooh, I would have dropped a fungal there probably. Try to catch the Marines. Of course, they can't get back in the medevac while fungaled and allow the queens to get a few more hits off. But Infestor energy is in real scarcity right now. Oh, full medevac goes down. That's a good pickoff. And he's going to go for the bile combo. Only a single bile, though, so that's not going to work out. Meanwhile, Clem now has a bit of freedom, and he lets just lets his multitasking go. You can see he's a little bit more comfortable. Let his hands fly across that keyboard, and rather than being so worried about dying to a Nydus worm at every moment, he's just gonna start to control things. Now those Roaches, good tunneling, burrow, to get out of there. 2 Roaches died in the natural at the same time. He can do these sort of dance pretty much all day, can Clem. As I say it though, good defense there from Bly. But 70 drones, he's trying to swap into melee upgrades. He's making a hive and a lair right now, so it's an accidental lair on his natural. It's meant to be a hive spire. He wants to go for a Broodlord swap. A problem he might run into with the way all these upgrades are timing out is if Clem goes straight for 3-3, he could have +3 armor versus +1 melee. And in that scenario, your Broodlords just don't do very much damage to Marines because you really need at least within 1 upgrade. with melee versus armor. Otherwise, your broodlings, they attack very fast. They just don't do that much. They do 4 base damage. 1 less than a Zergling. Clem, oh my god, he does get rid of the creep tumor, sacrifices 2 marines for it, decides that's worth it. And he's going to get rid of these tumors up here, at least snip those off. He's got to get rid of that active one. And does he get it? Yeah, just in time. Big Roach Infestor attack. Now, if he lands Fungal Bile on the guys, that's where it can work out real well for him. Now, of course, Bly sees him. He does not see Bly. He does not know Bly's there, but he's sieged in a good position. Oh, he goes in too early. Bly's been making a few too many little blunders with his Roachies. The bio immediately stimming back. Clem very worried about getting ambushed right now. 8 more drones are on the way. We do have Bane speed, which of course very good for running into bio as it tries to move across the map. These roaches do get caught out there. I mean, Bly is trying to multitask with one of the best players in the world. Look at that, guys. He's going to unburrow these roaches. And, oh, does force a bit of friendly fire. Does get a single tank. Those 2 roaches still down there. Now, Bly has managed to make his way pretty deep in this game. He's starting +2 melee. No Great Aspire just yet, though. And he needs to get a move on because there's 8 tanks on the map. Problem is there's 4 ghosts. So he might actually be deciding, I don't know if I can even go Broodlords if there's already ghosts on the map. He's going to try and go Ultras. But look at that. Double drop on the left. We've got a push on the north. He's actually leaving quite a few tanks for safety. So this is a little bit more of a poking army. It could get swamped. But I think as long as the drop does damage on the bottom left, then he'll be okay with that. Clears the creep. That double drop's going to unload and stim in, so it's not even going to fly into the Spore Crawler. Banelings are morphing right now. 20 seconds till Bane speed's done. That top base looks like it might get ransacked, but you can tell Clem's pretty cautious. That being said, tanks are coming on in. Stim bio goes up there. EMP on the Infestors. There's only 1 fungal left in this army, guys, and the Banelings aren't quite ready. Look at the snipes. Ravager's getting popped. Marine stimming in on the bottom left. He does eat a fungal. Roaches coming in from behind. The Ling's going to take out the tanks. The Banelings will go after the bio ghost, but it's lots of ghosts, lots of marauders. Those are not light units, and when they're spread out, the Banelings are incredibly cost inefficient. Marines take out the bottom left base, and he just looks like an incredible trade there for Clem, who manages to handle the chaos. I love this style from Bly, and the fact that Clem was so prepared so early, that Bly was so slow to take a 3rd base and macro on up. This tells me that Bly has got Clem very worried. It tells me that Bly can play even from an economic disadvantage, and with the usage of his queens, his infestors, his roaches, can still cause a lot of trouble for the best Terran Berserk in the world, and you don't really get any practice against this style. This is very different to how anyone else plays in the game. That drop. Gonna try and drop the worker line, perhaps. Potentially. There's an Ultra there. Go give him some hugs, big boy. Ultra says, I just want love. And does get some hugs. But 27 workers go down. It's a 54 drone Bly now. You might think, hey, he's dead, leave the game. No, no, no. Bly still has close to equal army supply. And Bly never leaves games until he has nothing left to work with. Bly realizes there's a big chance of you not realizing that, you know, your opponent's further behind. Maybe you did some damage that you weren't looking at in the game. And he just never wants to throw away one of those advantages. He also is someone who's very relaxed in this scenario. Most players go, oh, I'm behind, re. For Bly, he enjoys looking at disadvantageous situations and trying to kind of problem solve them, you know. He thinks of it like a chess player looking at a really complicated board state and looking for that rare gamble that might pay off. He doesn't get on the tanks on the high ground again. I do think that's a bit of a mistake. The fungals are amazing, but there's just a bit too much Terran. I would have loved just 5 or 6 roaches splitting on the high ground. I think even on that first push, if he did that, may have got back in control of it, but Clem does take game 1. We'll see how this goes, guys. Up 1 game so far, weathering the Ukrainian blizzard. This is Liquid Clem. And his opponent, he's fierce, he's sometimes fiery, sometimes he is like a bunch of fucking random ass hailstones and corrosive biles landing on your car when it's parked outside. This is Bly. He's a monster, man. Bly is so unique in how he approaches the game and thinks about it. And I really like the Infestor Roach game because you've got these ranged comeback tools that are just so effective. And he's actually going to go for the 14 Proxy Hatch build. I believe my original Book of Filth. You know, we have Filth, exclamation mark Filth, or exclamation mark Filth 2 for the new Book of Filth, which I need to add to. Haven't really been doing any cheesy streams recently, as I'm just trying to learn Terran. And improve my play. But Bly, yeah. So it's 14 hatch, 13 pool. He'll take, and he'll build 2 more drones and then gas. Okay, so he goes, and then 14 gas, right? Surely you got to get the gas now, don't you? Okay, so he takes the gas at 1 minute and 6 seconds, and the next one maybe 1 minute 20, I think, is what I'd guess. I know with some of the other ones, you do it, okay, 1 minute 7 and 1 minute 15 is this. I'm saving this in my memory. That's why I'm explaining it. Guys, Clem has not scouted yet. So, okay, he's going to scout with that SCV. No. Yeah, this SCV should scout because you don't have the mineral straight away. So you use this one to build the command center, that one scouts. So he's going to scout. He'll have a warning of this, but not a lot of warning. He'll have to immediately cancel his command center. I died to the same build today. Cancel the command center. He's got to build a factory here. If he floats his barracks back and puts the bunker in the wall, that's actually the ideal way of defending it, in my opinion. But you can put a bunker behind, and then often you want to do a backup bunker. Now, he doesn't know about it just yet. Roach Warren's on the way. There's only 2 workers on each gas, and he's just rallying the extra drones onto it. So it's going to be 15, 16 workers in total. SCV arrives, sees no expansion. Let's go to Clem's camera, guys. He's like, oh, shit, cancel your command center, buddy. Cancel it. He puts his factory down. He knows that's the most important thing. He sees the Roach Warren, and Reaper sees that expansion. He knows there's 3 roaches about to build and be on the way. He's going to try and bunker the low ground. So that's fucking insane, in my opinion. He's going to try and let his command center finish. So this makes no sense. There is no reason that you would need a command center here. I mean, I guess there's 17 workers off this, so there's a bigger economy than a 1-base one. He's got the backup bunker on the high ground, which keeps me happy. I mean, he's basically just trying to secure the command center, so I get it. He's trying to get as far ahead as possible, but he loses the Reaper! We're watching from Clem's point of view. He's building another barracks right now. I don't know if that's a priority. Oh, okay. He wants to pop that SCV out and try to finish the command center, but right now he doesn't have anything on the high ground. Oh, if those roaches got that marine, he would have been in trouble. That SCV, he pops the SCV around a few times. SCV gets targeted though, and he morphs a Ravager right there. There's only 1 marine shooting it. Notice he's going to try and target the Ravager cocoon if he could have, but because he's already morphed it, it's got 5 armor. It only takes 1 hit point a shot. And look at this, he's just healing these roaches, dude. The Roach Ravager is going to fall back for now. He's going to wait for more Ravagers, and he's just going to try and separate these Marines if possible. And he should be able to take that down. Now, the bunker is going to try and target the Ravagers. Clem, uncharacteristic miss micro, does not actually target the Ravagers with that. And he's going to lose those 2 Marines on the low ground. The Roaches can chase after those. The Overlord, a little bit slow to arrive for BLY this game, is finally going to spot that high ground and start sieging it. You know what, guys? If Clem survives this, he's done it like really well so far. He's lost a few Marines. He's got that depot building in the back, though. The command center is actually a mega depot. So getting that finished actually does kind of help him out a lot here. Oh, he doesn't quite kill the Overlord. The Ravagers are coming in. Gets the Cyclone. If he can kill that bunker, it's huge, but instead he just avoids it. He's just going to kill the tech lab. He's got a red hit point Ravager. He's got to be real careful with that. And he's also going to be careful about getting surrounded back here. I think he cornered himself a little bit more than he would have liked to. Yeah, a little bit slow on the area. Oh, the Cyclone pops into the Ravager piles. No fucking fay. Dude, and he's got more roaches on the way. He actually messed up his production during this. He should have had more units coming right now. He's going to lose these units. Oh, okay, he's got 2 more roaches coming in. I mean, there's nothing. Wait, there's a Ravager over on the right. I didn't even see that guy. Dude, I think he's got it. He's got to have it, surely. Yeah, he gets another SCV. These 2 roaches are like, come and fight us. They get the Marine. They could target that other Marine if they want to as well. It only takes 3 roach hits to kill a Marine, for those who don't know. And he's just focusing the SCVs. He's like, that's fine. The Marine's just too busy running away to even stand and fight. And yeah, I mean, I actually think the bunker on the low ground was really cute to let the command center finish, but it was unnecessarily greedy. And getting that Cyclone focus down was actually the big problem. Up here in the top right-hand side, guys. Oh, it's a very small map. Normally good for Terran, but kind of scary when you're playing an all-in Zerg player. This is Clem. And his opponent doing the exact same build as last game, except no, it's a 13 hatch this time. It's even faster. It's an even faster version. This is BLY. So guys, thing is, if you go south with your scout, I'm pretty sure you see that. But if you go out that way, you will not see that hatchery. It's incredibly close. So with this version, he's going to try and get his roaches in so fast that he definitely can stop the command center, I would imagine. Clem is not scouting. Okay, yeah, he is. He's going to scout 17 SCV scout, guys. Very wise of Clem to take some safety precautions, because this is one of the dirtiest Zergs out there. What's he do? Oh, he's just, okay, there we go. Gas a little later, 112, and then probably rally that drone over, yeah? Yeah, 118, 112, 118 for those gases. Does not see that hatchery. Clem doing a standard barracks gas opening right now, so he's going to start a Reaper. And let's once again, we're going to see Roach Warren, very standard thing. He's going to try and build roaches at the front. Let's watch from Clem's point of view as he sees no expansion and he immediately goes back and says, okay, no command center on the low ground. This is going to make his life much easier. If I were him, I'd already have dropped a second gas as well. He's a little slow to do that. Second gas, mate. Come on. Okay, he's going to try and do this off one gas. I mean, you can build cyclones off one factory, off one gas. So I guess he's just prioritizing getting that bunker up super duper fast. Fair enough. He's still scouting here. He's just double checking. He sees a few more drones popping out and he's like, okay. So you've got a not terrible economy. This is not a 12 drone Ravager all in. It's a 15 drone Ravager all in. Oh my god. Okay, so he's got the bunker out. Let's go back to Rune's view. He's going to build a second barracks so that he can counterattack pretty hard after this. But remember, there's no command center this time around. So, I mean, this is pretty all in from Bly. But you know what would be super sick, guys, is if Bly builds 4 Ravages, 5 Ravages, and then actually transitions into droning. The problem? Clem has an SCV hidden. Yeah, he's already droning. He's droning. Yeah, that's what he's doing, guys. So he's like, look, you're not going to die to it twice in a row, but if I just make a bunch with 3, 4 Ravages is all he's going to make, and he's going to kill the depots and just start harassing from the low ground. The Marines are trying to fight that, but he doesn't mind taking some damage on the roaches, and look at that. He gets a Marine, almost gets 2. So you got to be careful here as Clem, mate. Overlord's building behind this. He can only build 1 dude right now. That roach, unfortunately, not able to hit that depot, apparently, or it's derping a little bit. These roaches are getting a little bit randy. It's making 2 more Ravages right now. Good biles, but good dodge by Clem as well. That front depot he's just going to abandon, I believe, in a little bit. He's trying to repair it now. If he can get rid of the Overlord, that's going to really put a dampering on this this pressure. Now notice Clem has vision of that Overlord. Good biles. So he confirms the kill on the depot. Problem for Bly, he's not droning behind this. So he's actually going more all in. I don't think that's a good choice. Now, if he's going to do that, he's got to just back off for a bit. Oh, the problem is that SCV. Now, he doesn't see the SCV. Oh, the moment that SCV comes in. So the things, and he's also shown that he's built a few more roaches. So the thing is, if he hides the rest of his roaches, banks them up, pretends he's just delaying with like 3 Ravages, and then goes for a surprise line, that's the move. But the SCV comes in for Clem, sees there's no hatchery, and so there's no way Clem is moving to that low ground. Not to mention, Clem is already playing beyond safe. Double Barracks Marine and Cyclones building. Oh, look at that. The Roach Ravager is trying to hide. He wants him to come out, attack the hatchery, and then he wants to ambush him from behind. Talk about a backdoor boy, dirty ambush boy. Oh my god, look at this. Oh, Clem doesn't know. Oh, he checks! He checks! Clem checks for it! Clem checks for it. His spidey senses tingle and he says, I've played against you cheeky Zergs before. Oh, no, none of that, you dirty little shit. And now Clem knows 110%. Lings clear that up. And Bly, oh man. You know what's really cool? Is if he actually took a hatchery, oh, big Cyclone Ravager shot and tank shots there. Okay, he's got to pull back. So he's trying to drone. If he'd actually built a hatchery, cleaned up the SCV, and then gone back to non-stop roach production, while Clem was in the mindset of, oh, you're actually not all-inning me, you're just trying to contain me, you're going to a macro game, because Clem has no follow-up scouting. He's got no mobile units, right? He has no starport or nothing. Gotta be careful. Careful, mate. The Cyclones would love to lock on, but yeah, if they come down the ramp, they can get stuck on that ramp. Going up and down the ramp is always very scary for Cyclones versus Ravagers. Cyclones regular attack has 5 range. I don't actually know what the lock-on range is. I'd imagine it's about like 7? Is that 7? 6? 6, maybe 6 range? I think it's probably 7. Oh, he doesn't quite kill it. Ling speed's on the way. So Bly, I think, is realizing already that his best chance for victory here is probably going to be, he's going to spread creep with the Queen, deny the base for a long time. He's going to drone up a little bit. He's finally got that hatchery on the way. Man, he's so slow at getting the hatchery on the way. It's insane. If Bly could get that up a little bit quicker, or if he even like took a 3rd base as his expansion, expecting an SCV or Reaper to check, and then he does mass Ling Flood plus Ravages. One of the most surprisingly powerful all-ins in this matchup, in this scenario, is actually Ling Ravager. Now, the problem he's going to run into in this scenario is because Clem is building so many Marines, he's going to be more solid. Most players are so focused on the tech units, the Cyclones, the tanks, the Banshees, that the Ravager Ling is very powerful because the Lings just kind of ignore tank shots. They wrap around the units, and they can do really bloody well. And the Ravagers can bile the units down, you know, 3 biles a tank, 3 biles a Liberator, that sort of thing. But, yeah, Scan sees that. Tariq Clem here. Whenever he knows that his opponent's a cheeky bastard, I almost said cheeky fasted, mixture of fucker and bastard. He will do a lot of scans to check what's going on. Ooh, lots of Roaches and Ravagers falling. A few Marines go down. I think that's an acceptable trade for Clem as long as his Cyclones and his tank are still there anchoring. Oh, very nicely done. Gets another Roach there. Queen's in trouble. She's got a transfuse. I wouldn't mind a transfuse on one of these Ravagers. And oh, the Lings! The Lings definitely pulled some tank damage into the Marines, but then the other Lings kind of hesitated. So it was a little bit nasty towards the tail end of that. There's only one active tumor working backwards. The forward tumor gets sniped by a scan. So Bly really wants to get another one. Bly on 25 SCVs versus 33. But Clem is non-stop pumping 3 Marines now, guys. He's got 3 barracks. Doesn't care about upgrades. He's like, just have enough material to push on through. Is Clem getting over-eager, though? Oh, Bly stands his ground for way too long there. Way too long. Most of the biles didn't land. He's thinking about jumping on. He's going to try and get these units, but look at how many tanks and Marines there are. There's so much terror. He gets 2 tanks with the biles, actually. I didn't even see those bile markers. It's kind of funny. Sometimes you can see where they are. Sometimes you can't. And, oh, he gets 1 more tank, but unfortunately derps some biles on the high ground at the same time. And, guys, it looks like Clem here just saying, look, even upgrades is being too greedy in this game. Nothing but Marines, Cyclones, tanks, Marines, Cyclones, tanks. And he's now built that 12-worker advantage. Ling Runby tries to come on in, but there's just too much terror in there, my dude. Overlord's caught in the open as well. Going to add even more damage to this. And the Lings get a few Marines, but it's an okay trade for Clem, who has more raw material right now. So more Roaches are building. It's going to be round 17 of Ravager Zergling all in. Shout out to chat, by the way. Jamie, aka Albino Shadow, for bringing that one up on the screen. Lock-on range is 7 to start the lock-on. And then once you're locked on, it's probably about 14, 15. I don't know. It's something insane. It's longer than a siege tank can shoot. And I think a siege tank has 13 range. So probably 15 or 16 lock-on range is what I'd guess. It's pretty damn far. But initiating the lock-on, you've got to get pretty close. Cyclone tank clearing out most of the creep. There is still an Overlord there for that Cyclone kill as well. Ravagers run in. They trade 2 Ravagers. And Bly knows he has not done it. A great attempt, though. And you can tell that Clem is under fire and under pressure in that series. Has to super modify his style to be able to beat Bly. GG's.